Hey everyone, welcome back. You guys seem really into quantum healing, and honestly, me too. It's like this super cool blend of hard science and spirituality, and I'm so ready to deep dive into it with all of you.
Yeah, it really blurs the lines in a way that's, well, kind of mind-blowing, right?
Totally. We're going to look at how this whole idea of harnessing quantum physics could, maybe revolutionize the way we think about well-being.
Absolutely. We're not just talking about like a quick fix, but some pretty major potential benefits, like think stress reduction.
Oh yeah, I think we could all use a bit less stress. Am I right?
You're telling me. And even, maybe even giving the immune system a little boost.
That's fascinating. I'd love to hear more about that.
And, well, there's even the possibility of finding like completely new ways to deal with pain and even heal emotionally. So much to unpack.
I am so here for it. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I think it's worth just taking a minute to lay some groundwork, right? So for anyone who might be new to this whole quantum healing thing, what's the basic idea here?
Okay, so imagine this. What if our bodies weren't just these physical machines, but also like dynamic networks of energy and consciousness?
Okay, I'm listening.
And what if, like, by tapping into this energy, we could potentially unlock some serious healing power? That's kind of the essence of quantum healing.
So we're talking about more than just positive thinking here, right? This is grounded in some pretty serious science.
Exactly. It's not just some new age, airy-fairy concept. Quantum healing is actually rooted in, wait for it, quantum physics.
Oh, okay. Now that's where things start to get really interesting. But I gotta admit, whenever someone says quantum physics, my brain kind of goes, help.
So how about we break this down a bit? How does this, mind-boggling world of subatomic particles connect to healing?
Right. It seems like a huge leap, I know. But bear with me. In the quantum world, things work very differently from our everyday experience. Everything basically exists as, energy.
You got it.
But not just static energy, but energy that's always in motion. And here's the key. Interconnectedness. I'm sensing a theme here.
Definitely a theme. This interconnectedness is like a cornerstone of quantum healing. It suggests that if we can address, imbalances in this human energy system, we might be able to kickstart healing on a much, much deeper level.
That's pretty profound when you think about it. But when you say energy system, what exactly are we talking about in, the human body?
Okay, think of it kind of like the body's own information superhighway, but instead of electrical signals zipping around, it's this flow of subtle energy that's connecting every single cell and system.
I'm picturing a network of tiny glowing pathways.
I like that visual. And, ancient traditions like in the East, they've been talking about this energy for centuries. They call it chi or prana. Quantum healing just brings a modern scientific lens to these age-old ideas.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's not just about the energy itself, right? There's this whole other layer of quantum healing that totally fascinates me, the idea of intention. It goes beyond just thinking positive thoughts and suggests that our consciousness can actually shape the healing process.
You're so on point with that.
Yeah.
And it all ties back to one of the most mind-boggling concepts in quantum mechanics, the observer effect.
Oh yeah, that one's a real head scratcher.
Tell me about it. So at the subatomic level, right, particles basically exist in this state of pure possibility.
So they haven't decided what they're going to be yet.
Exactly. Until they are observed, and then boom, they collapse into a definite state. So our very act of observing something changes it. Crazy.
It really is. So how does this observer effect apply to, healing our own bodies?
That's where it gets really cool. Quantum healing takes this idea and runs with it. It proposes that our focused thoughts, intentions, and even visualizations can directly influence our energy systems and as a result, our healing.
Whoa. So basically our minds have way more power than we realize.
Exactly. It's not just wishful thinking. It's about actively participating in the healing process with our consciousness.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about energy systems, intention, the observer effect. This is a lot to take in. I'm curious, can you give us a specific example of how this actually plays out in a real quantum healing technique? What does this look like in practice?
Totally. Let's take quantum touch, for example. This is a technique where practitioners use focused intention, like we were just talking about, and visualization to work with the body's energy field.
Okay, so how does that actually work?
They basically use gentle touch, either directly on the body or just near it, and they visualize this high frequency of energy flowing from their hands into the person.
So they're directing the energy.
Exactly. And the idea is that this focused intention, combined with the visualization of energy flowing, can help to clear out any blockages in the energy system, like we were talking about earlier, and restore balance.
Wow, so they're almost like a conduit for healing energy.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's about actively participating in the healing process, but through the power of consciousness. And this whole principle of intention, it pops up in a bunch of different quantum healing techniques, even though the specific methods might be different.
Okay, so that's quantum touch. What about, like, some of the potential benefits of quantum healing? You mentioned stress reduction earlier. I think we could all use a bit of that. How would that work from a quantum perspective?
So picture this. Stress, from a quantum healing viewpoint, is kind of like a disruption or an imbalance in the flow of energy within your body, right? And these techniques, they often aim to smooth out that flow, like removing a dam from a river.
Okay, so it's about restoring that natural flow.
Exactly. And that smoother flow leads to, a sense of deep relaxation. Practices like meditation or energy work or even, focused breathing exercises, they can help you tap into this energy system and quiet down that mental chatter that keeps us all stressed out.
I can totally see how that would be helpful. What about something like boosting the immune system? Could quantum healing really have an impact there?
Well, if we are indeed these dynamic energy systems, then it makes sense that, blockages or imbalances in that system would affect our immune response.
Right, so a weaker flow of energy could mean a weaker immune system.
Exactly. And quantum healing is all about clearing out those blockages, getting the energy flowing freely again so it can support the body's natural defenses. Think of it like removing debris from a river. It allows the river to flow stronger and do its job better.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, let's talk about pain management. I mean, this is a big one for so many people. How does quantum healing approach pain?
So here's the thing. It's important to be realistic, right? Quantum healing isn't about magically erasing all pain. But what it can do is address those underlying energy imbalances that might be contributing to the pain.
So it's not a quick fix, but more about getting to the root of the problem.
Right. And by doing that, it becomes possible to find relief. Some techniques might focus on directly influencing the energy flow in the areas where you're experiencing pain.
Like targeting the specific spot that's hurting.
Exactly. And the goal is to reduce inflammation or speed up healing. It's about working with the body's natural mechanisms.
Okay, so it's not about fighting the pain, but supporting the body's own healing process.
You got it. And finally, let's not forget about emotional healing. I think this is a crucial part of well-being that often gets overlooked.
It's true, we tend to focus on the physical stuff.
Totally. But quantum healing recognizes that trapped emotions can also create those pesky blockages in our energy systems.
Oh, interesting. So our emotions can get stuck in our energy field.
Yep. And techniques that work with the energy body can help release those trapped emotions, and that leads to greater emotional balance and, well, just a sense of overall well-being.
It sounds like quantum healing is really about addressing the whole person, not just the physical symptoms.
100%. So I guess after this deep dive, what's the takeaway message? Because quantum healing, it's pretty complex and there's so much to explore.
It is. I'm still wrapping my head around it all, but it's definitely fascinating. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I think even though scientists are still figuring out a lot about quantum healing, it offers us this really powerful new perspective on, holistic health.
Okay.
It reminds us that we're not just these physical machines, but we're energy, we're consciousness, and we're all interconnected.
I love that. The interconnectedness piece is really powerful.
Isn't it? And it really gets you thinking, if we truly are these incredible energy systems, what kind of healing potential is waiting to be unlocked within each of us? That's something I really want you all to ponder.
It's a great question. And I think this deep dive, it's just a starting point.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of your journey into the world of quantum healing.
Thanks so much for guiding us through this fascinating topic. Until next time.
My pleasure. Happy exploring, everyone.